Before I do a diagonal layout, I like to have some diagonals in hand. It helps me to get a more accurate layout. And for that reason, I'm using this wet saw. Now these diagonals have a real sharp point, and the tiles themselves have a pretty dense body. So I get much better results out of the wet saw than I would with a snap cutter, which I'll be using for the other tiles on the floor. Now this wet saw is an old one. It's older than I am, but I'm comfortable with it and like to use it. And it has all the features that you would find on a new saw that you could rent or buy at a tile store. It has a diamond impregnated blade that leaves a real smooth finish on the tile. It has a couple of water jets here that keep the chips out of the way of the blade and also keep the blade cool. And I have a valve up here that I can turn the water on and off. And because the saw does throw a bit of water, I'm using it outside, and it has a insulated motor and an insulated switch. It has a couple other features to raise and lower the blade, and I have a fence here that I can make repetitive cuts with on the table. But since I need full diagonals here, I really don't need any kind of a tool to align the tile. I need merely to cut from point to point. And since I need a couple of dozen of these, I'll just cut them up and go inside and do the layout. A word about safety here. Apart from the usual considerations, you have to understand that this blade doesn't present the same kinds of hazards that a typical woodworking blade does. My main concern here is holding the tile flat against the table so that it doesn't vibrate or wobble around. If this happens, the blade could shatter and fly apart.